Hey, welcome to another edition of Chocobo Chasers IMG.
Back
As
bitch.
always, I am
Back
joined by the Chocobros, Erik and Dash. How are you guys doing tonight?
Football's
Doing pretty
back,
well.
baby. Football's back.
It
The
is a very,
anticipation is killing me.
a very
It's fine,
special
dude.
edition of football too, which obviously we'll be diving into quite a bit because Erik is the only one of us who did the deluxe edition for College Football 25, and I
No
think me
regrets.
and Dash Erik and I were on a chat earlier this week, and he was basically explaining to me like, oh yeah, there's no reason you shouldn't have done this, and it's like you're not helping my cause right now. um, Dash and I are sitting here. It's kind of like the SpongeBob meme from that episode when he's inside Sandy's house and he's trying to explain to her that he doesn't need the water. That I don't need it.
Or
I don't
SpongeBob.
need it.
The thing is, I don't play Ultimate Team that much, so
Yeah, I don't play
besides
that
that
shit
3-day
either.
early access, I'm not going to spend $30 just for that.
$10 a day, worth it.
Yeah. There's worse ways to spend your money. So there's a lot of anticipation for this, obviously, from the people like myself and Dash who are still waiting. Erik is going to provide us a pretty comprehensive review of the game itself. So let's go ahead and let's get it kickstarted. Erik, I'm going to save you for last for what are you playing, since that's going to be kind of our main thing here for at least the first part of the show. I'll actually go ahead and kick us off. So this week I finished Red Dead Redemption 1 for the very first time. I'm going to say, great game. John Marston, fantastic protagonist. I love spoilers. Obviously, John Marston dies right towards the end of the game, and then you play as his son, Jack, in the epilogue, which is very similar to Red Dead Redemption 2. You play as Arthur Morgan for basically the entirety of the game, and then you play as John Marston for the end of the game. So there's a lot of parallels there. Gun gameplay, Dash, you talked about it a little bit last episode. It's really solid. Honestly, I was really surprised. This is my first time playing this game all the way through. Some of the missions were just kind of filler, and I wasn't really trying to do all of the side content and everything, because I mean there are some aspects of the game that were pretty dated. I talked about it a little bit last week, the fast travel system, a few other things that were not my favorite. Gambling in that game is so fun, though. Man, it is. It's one of the best mini games ever, which obviously we talked about in our mini game episode. But awesome game. Happy to have played it. But honestly, I feel good to probably never play it again. It was fine. It does make me want to hop into Red Dead Redemption 2 now, though. But man, that beginning is such a fucking slog to get through. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. Maybe sometime soon. We'll see. In addition to Red Dead, I have started Stellar Blade, which I did play the demo. I was pretty happy with what I ended up playing, so ended up picking it up for my birthday, and it's awesome. Honestly, it is. It's great. Well, I have to talk about like the hyper-sexualization of like the design of these characters a little bit, because I get it, but also at the same time, like this man was horny on main just making this game the whole time. I Dash, you're not allowed to play this game ever. So
Too late. I'm gonna. I mean, and of course we had the whole stupid Twitter drama for it. Some people saying it was not sexy enough, and like, oh, they got rid of cleavage on some of the outfits, so it was censorship or something.
Yeah, they haven't seen the physics of the game.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. And so sexiness aside, the game is pretty awesome from a gameplay standpoint. It's a Souls-like. The combat is a tiny bit different. There's a few aspects that kind of differentiate itself from those kind of games, and the story is pretty interesting so far. I'm still only a few hours in. It's not a terribly long game, but at least from what I've seen. But honestly, it's pretty good. I'm I'm definitely looking forward to just continuing through that. I am probably going to end up starting Liza P as well afterwards. That also being said, college football, I get to pick it up tomorrow night. So the day this episode drops, where me and Dash are going to be able to finally play this game. And I have next week all off of work because I am leaving my job and I had to use all my PTO because we've talked about it. You use PTO to play video games. That's what I'm doing. So I'm going to be playing basically just a week nonstop of college football until I start my new job. So yay for that. Shout out to my boss, Jonathan, who actually watches this show and is awesome. Jonathan, you're the fucking man. Love you. In addition to those things, played a little bit more of MLB The Show. Told myself I was giving it up because I was like, you know what? Don't need to play anything until college football. Needed a turn your brain off game for a minute. And sports games are really just kind of the perfect way to do that. One other game that I did play, Dash is going to have this too, because we literally played it together, is Concord. We've talked a lot about Concord on this show. We talked about it during the first preview, how it was supposed to be kind of the highlight of the PlayStation Showcase. And then we talked about it leading into the beta last week. Big shout out to Josh Pellimania from Saints Block Party Discord, who ended up sharing some friend codes with some of us for us to be able to go ahead and play it. I was really impressed. There's issues. I'm not going to say it's a perfect game, but for a lot of the critiques that I had for this game, I was expecting an Overwatch clone, with kind of just this Guardians of the Galaxy influence, because just from an art style standpoint, character design, you can see a lot of parallels there. That being said, honestly, it does not play anything like Overwatch at all. It's a 5v5 multiplayer online game. There's a few different modes that you can do. Dash and I typically stuck to the one mode when we were playing together. And there's a lot of different characters to choose from as well. I think there was about 20 in the original roster.
It was 16, I thought. Or maybe it was 20.
Yeah, so somewhere around there, though. And, one issue that I'll definitely talk about is balancing is a problem. And that's what a beta is for, right? Because they're looking to go ahead and make the game better as you get into release. I will say that, playing this game and getting a good sense for it, some of the characters really stood out, and some of them were really just, some of them really don't hit. And that's going to be the case with any kind of multiplayer game like this. You're always going to have your favorites, but I do definitely think that some definitely shined more than others. But honestly, this game became I'm definitely not buying to... I'm very seriously considering purchasing at this point, just because, one, it's obviously at a lower price point, $39.99. Secondly, I'm excited to kind of see what they do with this game. We're going to have more because they're going to do an open beta, I think, sometime over the next few weeks as well, just to get more and more information. So
I think it should have more modes and a new map also. So
yeah,
a little bit more content to test.
Right. And so definitely I'm intrigued. I think that's a really good way to put it. But that's about it for me. So Dash, I'll pass it on to you.
I'll start off with I made a return to Zao Tales of Kenzara, just to go ahead and get one of the few platinums I've actually gotten in quite some time.
Let's go.
So just wanted to... I know I always see Abu Bakar Salim on Twitter posted stuff, so it reminded me, I'm like, oh, I need to go back to Zao and kind of finish that up. So I did it, got my platinum. Shout out to him, Insurgent Studios. Can't wait to see what you guys do next. Then after that, we have... there's the Copa America and UEFA European Soccer Cup. So I was kind of thinking, I'm kind of in a soccer mood. I'm going to play Football Club 24. I guess that's what it's called now. It's not FIFA
The new
anymore.
FIFA, yeah.
So I did the player career mode. And probably I made the choice of having 20-minute halves to the point where I'm scoring 17 goals in a game. So maybe that wasn't the smartest decision there. I mean, it's definitely making my character look good in the front office. I decided to make my character for my local team, which is the Orlando City Soccer Club. I didn't realize that they were only made in the 2000s.
Yeah,
They're-
well, a lot of those MLS teams are pretty fresh.
Yes, I need to go there more often. But just a couple games because those games took a while with it being 20-minute halves, and among like player career modes, it's definitely one of the better ones. Obviously, everything's better than Madden at this point when it comes to franchise and career modes. I'm really excited to see what college football does for the Road to Glory. I believe that's what it was, right?
Yep.
And what I've seen on people post on Twitter, it looks pretty in depth. So really excited to get into that once that comes around. As G mentioned, we did Concord together, so like some of my favorite characters to mess around with were like Star Child, Baz, I think is that one girl's name.
Yes.
And Teo, which is kind of like your standard Call of Duty run and gunner with throw grenades around and shit. Some of those characters though are really hard. Like, obviously it's a whole skill gap on certain characters, so there's more beginner friendly ones versus the more advanced ones. So but balancing is always the thing. It's definitely not a game meant to be like someone solo carrying or anything like that. This is a game based around teamwork.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of intimidated by the idea of there being no respawn modes, and they have like kind of like your traditional command or Counter-Strike, Valorant, plant the bomb modes and stuff. So it makes it more interesting because it's not just like everybody's playing the same kind of hero that has slightly different abilities. Like people have different health pools, different damage outputs. Everybody has a unique weapon. So it's far from an Overwatch clone like some people claim it is. And it seems like there's a lot of interest in trying to see this game fail versus succeed for some reason, which I don't get. But it's definitely going to be worth picking up. Finally, the one that's been taking the majority of my time and I'm almost to the finish line with is I'm almost going to be done with my Dragon Age Inquisition playthrough. So I've beaten the core game, done all the zones, done all the collectibles. I've done the entirety of the Jaws of Hakan DLC, and now I'm working on the Descent. And obviously there's more of a preference towards the Descent at this point because, hey, it's an entirely linear DLC. And it's been such a long time since I played it. I don't really remember much about it. But yeah, obviously Trespassers like the one. There's a little bit of controversy about the fact that you had the true ending hidden behind the DLC, but I mean, the base game had a pretty satisfying ending in its own right, and I felt like Trespasser was just kind of like an epilogue to kind of set things up for the future at that point. So I don't think there was anything wrong with it necessarily. But let's go over, let's say, the major choices I've done in this. So, in my original playthrough, the first time I ever did Inquisition, I romanced Cassandra. I wanted to change things up. I did Josephine in this run. Let's see. I had Cassandra as
Josephine.
She was like your ambassador advisor. So she wasn't a party member. She was like one
you
of
meet her like right at the very beginning, right?
When you okay, you can romance those characters.
You can romance her and Colin.
Okay, that makes sense.
You can't do Liliana, I don't believe.
Yeah, which is kind of strange.
So first time through, I did Divine Cassandra. So this time I really pushed for Liliana to be the Divine. Major choices. I always side with the mages. I never do with the Templars. That's just how I am. Obviously, I saved the Wardens, and I can't think of the major choices besides those ones, at least.
How many hours have you put in from the beginning of this playthrough, like up till now?
So Steam has me at currently 105 hours, and I still have to do the Descent and the Trespasser DLC, so I imagine it'll probably be 115, 120 hours by the time I'm done with that. I mean, that's just the thing, because Dragon Age was... I mean, thankfully I did like most of the areas like a couple years ago when I initially left off on this run. So like the hinterlands I didn't have to deal with in recent memory, at least.
Thank God.
But like, it's not to say like some of the other areas aren't as bad, but I know I said this before, but Veilguard I am so thankful for is going to be more linear and mission based. And as we're getting closer and closer to whenever they're going to reveal the release date, which I think they said at San Diego Comic-Con, we're going to get the voice actor cast reveal for the party members, and maybe they might show us more of the game. Hopefully the character creator, because from what people are talking about in the hands-on previews they've gotten, it's probably one of the most in-depth character customizers ever. And if they want to go the route like what Dragon's Dogma 2 did, release that first so we could get our characters made.
Of all of the things, I mean, and we shit on Dragon's Dogma 2 pretty hard, and with good reason.
Despite that game sucking, that character creator was pretty fun.
Yeah, I was going to say that it was stellar.
You can like the game all you want, it fucking sucks.
Okay.
But and that's it for you, Dash, this week then?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that my primary concern's been Inquisition. I kind of just divided up with some other stuff at the same time. So
yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it. Erik, the man of the day.
Played some Crusader Kings. I restarted my campaign. One thing I don't like about the most recent Crusader Kings 3 updates, I mean, look, it's obviously like pretty historically accurate, getting plagues all the time, but Jesus fucking Christ, Paradox, I'm getting plagues every goddamn month, and they're just spreading and killing everybody. There's chaos.
Did you
ruin.
wash your ass today?
Probably
with
not.
Crusader Kings 3, is it kind of like Stellaris, where Paradox likes to completely change like how like certain gameplay mechanics as they update new patches and stuff?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And so the plague thing, it's so fucking aggravating, man. It kind of like you can turn it down in the game rules. That's why I restarted my game and did that. But like it's still like I'm getting, instead of getting one every month, I'm getting one like every 6 months. Which like
everybody's getting dragon scale.
Yeah, everybody's getting fucking dragon scale and grayscale. I'm sorry. And no, but the upcoming updates to the Game of Thrones mod are going to bring us dragons.
Ooh.
Which is super dope.
So you can hatch dragons, you can name them, you can bring them to battle. They'll help you in sieges, burn down castles. It's
Dance of Dragons going to be the next mod.
It's pretty exciting stuff. And if y'all don't listen to this podcast, I'm going to start DMing every person spoilers of House of the Dragon. So listen to the podcast or be spoiled.
Or read Fire and Blood, or both, because
Fire and Blood,
you're
good,
fucking
man.
missing out, because Fire and Blood is wicked. So
because you get Aegon's Conquest, the Blackfire Rebellion, you get Princess and the Queen, like you get a little bit of all that, and then there's also a new show, Night of the Seven Kingdoms coming, which is the Duncan Egg Tales, and that's going to air alternate years compared to House of the Dragon. Apparently, while I guess they're going to start taking 2 years for every House of the Dragon season.
It's a way to do it for sure.
Mini tangent, but it shouldn't take that long to make television shows,
No,
especially when they're only fucking 8 episodes long.
It shouldn't take that long.
What?
Umbrella Academy takes forever, it feels like, to make those.
Stranger Things has taken like 5 years. These kids are going to be older than me. Like, they're going to be 30 years old by the time this final season
How many
airs.
of those years are they actually filming it, and how many is it just waiting on Netflix to actually give them the green light to start producing it?
Stranger Things
they were
the green
getting
light like immediately.
They were getting the green light immediately. The problem is, I guess, like because the kids are getting more famous, they're filming other stuff, so they got to work around that schedule. I don't know.
It's fucking wild.
I feel like I haven't seen them in anything else lately. At least
The only one who's in anything is Finn Wolfhard. He's in like the Ghostbusters.
And Millie Bobby Brown. Yeah,
Millie Bobby Brown, and then the redhead I think's in a couple. Gonna be in a couple things.
Yeah, she is. That's absolutely right.
But anyway, so obviously I've been playing college football 25. It's nice to be back. 11 years is a long time. So far, the game's a lot of fun. Gameplay is great. It's smooth. It's fun to play on offense. Defense is incredibly hard. It's almost to the point where like offense is too easy, defense is too hard in a way. Because
it's just life.
I cannot tell y'all how many times I've just had like 5-second drives and just heave deep balls and it hits 3 times in a row.
Eric's just the 2015 New Orleans Saints, basically.
And it's not like I'm playing on rookie. Like, I mean, I'm not playing on Heisman. I'm playing on All-American. But like All-American, my defense can't do anything. They're idiots. it's bad. Like, I'm over here just giving up deep balls left and right. I can't stop the run. I feel like Jim Mora. Couldn't complete a pass. Couldn't run the ball. Couldn't try to run the ball.
Couldn't do diddly poo.
Couldn't do diddly poo defensively. Couldn't stop the ball. Couldn't try to stop the ball. It sucks. So I started an offline dynasty. I haven't done the online yet, obviously, because none of my boys have it. So,
Poor boy hours here.
Poor boy hours. One thing I've noticed, because like I like to kind of go in and mess around with like the guys on the team, like appearances and stuff like that. All the NIL players in college football, you cannot mess with anything. You can't mess with hair. You can't change jersey numbers. You can't mess with any of that. Even like, I guess it must be a bug because it has an option for you to be able to edit players, I guess, to mess around. Like, you can't even edit recruiting classes right now.
Wow.
And speaking of recruiting is actually a lot of fun. It's now set up by like you dedicate so many hours per player you're looking for. So the more players you have on your board at one time, the less time you have to spend with certain players individually. And every week something could happen. Like if you're spending 50 hours on one guy and 10 hours on another guy, other teams are going to put 50 hours into the guy you're not spending that time on. And it's really, I've lost 4 or 5 stars I'm in my second season now. I took home the chip the first season, and I'm still losing recruits left and right because I have full boards and I'm not dedicating the times.
Give them the Coach Gendy treatment.
It's you can still scout. You spend hours of your allotment on scouting. So usually it's about like 10 hours per level of scouting. Some are 2, some are 3 levels. You find gems, you find bust. One of my big complaints is on the list for recruiting. If you scouted somebody, it doesn't, and you take them off your board, it doesn't show you that you've already scouted them. I'd like to see something to where like I don't have to go back through. Oh, look, this is a guy I might have missed. And you add him back. You're like, oh fuck, I scouted this guy, and he's not what I want. So that got me a few times where it's like, fuck, all right, let me go redo this. Cool factors in. So like it starts out like there's certain different things like you can spend 50 hours of your allotment. That's sending the entire coaching staff to go meet with this prospect. You can DM the player on social media for like 10 hours, 5 hours. You can just peruse through their socials and see how they act. As you get higher up and they get more schools that they narrow down their schools from like 8, 5, 3 to top 2 to who's number 1, you can try to sway their opinion more in your favor, but it can backfire. So like if you pick 3 things that they like and you're all A's in them, it can still miss. Or if you're not an A, it'll whose cat's going ape shit?
That's mine. Yeah. Mo is just a fucking terror right now.
It's all good. And so swaying can backfire. And I had guys who I almost were certain I had in the bag. They were on visit the week. I beat the shit out of the team that they visited on. And I tried to sway them to get the go ahead, and I ended up losing it. And then they just committed somewhere else. Oregon is killing me.
They're lost.
In recruiting. Oregon is taking every player I'm not getting. It's fucking miserable. I hate Oregon so much. And I beat their ass week 1. I scheduled them specifically so I could knock them out of the top 5. And they're still just out recruiting me. They're back to number 3 overall. I'm the only loss they have. So stupid, man. Get the fuck out of here.
They're just that fucking thorn in your side right now. But I mean, it sounds like this game is kind of everything a lot of people were hoping for. Fills a void, obviously, is one big part of it. But
especially because Madden hasn't been filling it, especially.
Yeah. So if they're going to come out with it again next year, they need to significantly go from here. Because if this game had come out last year, there's some things that just kind of feel half-baked. There's not a lot of other things going on in Dynasty. Like, it's not very fleshed out, it feels like. You have some stories. You can look at the Heisman, watch the top 25 polls. Bring me back some of the Madden 05 franchise stuff. Give me some radio shows.
Yeah.
Give me, let me do off-season programs to make my players better. Don't just tell me they improved this many overall points in between the off-season workouts. The transfer portal is really cool. If you have certain guys and you don't use them enough, they're going to transfer. Just there's nothing you can do about it. You can try to put that player in, but then the guy you have starting might be just way better. That's my issue at running backs right now. Is my second guy is I'm going to transfer. He's a junior, He was my starter my first year, and then the guy behind him just is better now. He went into the offseason, he's faster and he's bigger and he can break tackles compared to the other guy. Doesn't really break many tackles. So the other guy's already said he's going to transfer basically. And then you can even go into the transfer portal and try to get guys. I got a 5-star cornerback from somebody who's like 6'5".
Shit.
So and two-way players are a thing now too. So like when you go get athletes, they give you a couple different stats for both ways, and you can put those guys both ways. It was really fun. Like I played Colorado just to have some fun with Shore Sanders and Travis Hunter. And Travis Hunter is awesome. Like he's not really a lockdown corner in the game, even though he's like a 98 overall corner. He's like more like Asante Samuel. Like he's going to give up bombs, and then or he's going to take one to the house. You never know.
Yeah. But the Trayvon Diggs effect, basically.
Yes.
I'm assuming with the Road of Glory, you can do the same thing that we could in previous games, where you could choose an offense and defensive role to play with your character.
So I think they took out high school in Road to Glory.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I haven't even touched it yet. I'll be honest with you. I have been having fun with Dynasty. So once I will check that out. I do like how they're bringing it back to where you can import your Road to Glory guy into Superstar mode for Madden.
Oh, they are doing that still?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're bringing it back. And because Superstar mode Maddens recently have been shipped.
Like that's a pretty solid way to kind of reinvigorate that for sure.
Superstar mode, franchise mode, just all of
it. They just like it's the Madden franchise modes especially need something. Like there's no juice in there.
Yeah, it's just play the game and stats basically. That's the gist of what you're going to get if you're playing those at this point. So, but no, man, that sounds solid as hell. I really cannot wait to be able to sink my teeth into it. Obviously, me and Dash both. We've had friends, our guy London, a bunch of guys in the Discord, Adam, Nick, who've all been playing, and everybody seems to be having just an absolute blast. Defense definitely seems like the one thing that's jumped out, as everybody has kind of struggled with it. It's not just because Colorado, their defense is also just ass. So that's, you never know. It's just a team thing or something. But honestly, it sounds like it's going to be difficult. Now, somebody who specializes in, like, that's what I do is defense in, football sims. I'm very excited to be able to hopefully get my hands on some balls. No
and
pun
then we'll
intended.
have our online dynasty here soon.
Yeah. So Erik can't do the 30-man. Like 5-10-man dynasty, he's there. But
yeah, I'll do, like, honestly, it's like at most 5. Because 30, you're just waiting on people.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, it's just, it really, like, when you're able to, like, advance 2 or 3 times a week, it gets you kind of hyped. You're like, fuck yeah, Wednesday night, I'm going to play Sherm, or I'm going to play G, or I'm going to play London. But if you're 30, then you're like, all right, like, hopefully this person. Yeah. I'm out of town.
Do we have 30 yet?
No, but he's just used because that's the max amount of teams you can use. So, or 32 is the maximum you can do. So, it's man, I honestly, it sounds like just an incredibly solid game. But I mean, it definitely sounds like there's a foundation to build on, and this is all a learning experience. And one thing I think that's probably the most exciting for me is it just sounds so different from Madden.
It
and
is.
that's been kind of what everybody was hoping for. There was a definite concern among the football gaming community that we were just going to get Madden reskinned as NCAA, and that's not what we got. So
trick plays are awesome too. I totally spaced on that. I've ran some trick plays. I ran a fake jet sweep pass and fucking heaved the ball downfield for a touchdown, and I've also had that thrown on me multiple times, and guess what? I've been gotten every time.
The CPU getting you at the trick plays too.
I'm beelining for the fucking person with the ball in their hand every time. They're just getting me.
Wild. Damn. Well, that's honestly, I'm so hyped. I seriously cannot wait. Next week, obviously, Dash and I will give our opinions, and my expectation is that it's probably going to be pretty in line with what Erik just mentioned. So, in other news, we've got a few other things that have come up this week. Some shitty news to start. Crash 5, which was never officially announced, is unofficially dead at the same time. So, Toys for Bob, who's the company who made Crash 4, actually bought themselves out from Activision Blizzard because, there was a lot of shitty stuff, which obviously we've seen quite a bit of it now, just in terms of like the layoffs and studio shutdowns that, Xbox has done since they took over Activision Blizzard. Toys for Bob didn't want to be a part of that as much as possible, and so they bought themselves out. They were rumored to be working on Crash 5, and now it's dead, which is really just unfortunate because obviously Crash is one of those games that is like the pillar in the platforming community. Crash 4 was an awesome addition to, and I would say an awesome addition and an awesome evolution of the formula that they've used for those games, because there were so many new different things that were utilized in that game. If you guys haven't played it, I definitely would recommend it. But just shitty all around. Again, it's kind of weird because this is a game that was never officially confirmed. But I mean, with the success of Crash 4, you kind of knew it had to be happening. And now it's not anymore. So, big sad. There's my cat. So in addition to that, yeah, he is so loud, and he's at my door right now. So
You dare close a door at my house?
Yeah, this is my house. So, give me 1 sec, guys. I am gonna remove him.
Delete.
What you don't know is she's actually taking the vet to get put down real quick.
Oh, okay.
I can't wait till he comes back and hears that part.
Oh, I fucking hate that cat. Actually, I love him, but I also kind of hate him at the same time. So, anyway, moving on from Crash. So, Warhammer, which obviously has a ton of different games in their space. The next big one, which is coming out, is Space Marine 2, which first person, or is it third person or first person?
Okay, yeah, kind of like Gears of War style.
Yeah. Which is really highly anticipated. A lot of people who were fans of the previous game, this is a sequel, and it looked pretty good, honestly, from the small details we've kind of seen. Apparently, a playable build got leaked online and is like fully playable. So this is going to tie in kind of a lot with the next subject too, because we've talked about it on this show. Leaking has been prevalent in gaming news, I'd say, for the last 5 to 7 years, pretty consistently. And we have, seen firsthand. We've gotten like surprises ruined. We have gotten news that would have been really exciting to not know going into, certain, whether it be PlayStation Showcase, whether it be, Xbox Showcase, Summer Game Fest, things of that nature that would have been great surprises. Leakers are kind of just really in the know right now. So this build popped up online. So we're now seeing that studios are starting to take action against these people. This is really, I would say, one company who probably does this more and probably better than anybody is Nintendo. They do not take leaks seriously, or they do not take threats of leaks lightly, I guess is a better way to put it.
Yeah. Because
they sue the shit out of anybody who threatens to leak or who does leak what they're working on. We're seeing more and more examples, and I don't always believe litigation is like the best way to go, but in situations like this, when, like Insomniac, for example, where you're leaking employees' personal data, you're leaking literally their roadmap for the next 10 years. That is like, that sucks. Like, these guys are working so hard on these new projects, and
it's the way it's acquired, because it's always through hacking or some illegal means. So, yeah. I mean, this isn't information that like a former employee kind of slipped or something. No. This is, we stole this information, now we're publishing it, and all the gaming news people will report on it too, and then It's like kind of like maybe we should not spread the information that's already been put out. I get it's out there, but we shouldn't spread it even further.
We shouldn't be a
needs to.
proponent of all of that. Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. And it's just like I want leakers to be held accountable, but suing these people into the ground is one way to handle it, I suppose. I don't know the right way to handle it, I guess, is the problem. You have these people who
Better
are
server security.
That's one way,
Yeah,
certainly. Maybe hire these people so that they can, help you build up these barriers, because obviously they found ways to surpass them. So somebody else is going to try to do the same. So the old, hackers methodology. Anyway, so leaking prevalent. Maybe we might start to see this become less and less relevant going forward, though, because there is just this, looming shadow of litigation that is hanging over anybody who does attempt to go ahead and leak all of this stuff. So, wanted to end the show talking about something on a positive note. So we've talked about adaptations of video games and film and television, and right now it's better than it's ever been. And what better way to show evidence of that than how do we recognize the best actors in television? How do we recognize best actors in film? By award shows. Well, Fallout, which we've all watched and all enjoyed quite a bit, has been nominated. Specifically, Walton Goggins, Uncle Baby Billy, the GOAT, has been nominated for an Emmy for, I think it's best leading performance or best supporting. I can't remember.
I think he's the only actor from Fallout to get nominated. So
yeah, and he was fantastic in it. There's a lot of room for the character to continue growing in the show. Like, it was a really great first season. It did such a good job of world building while making its characters interesting. It had enough of a story to wrap up in a first season, but then also continuing that into a second season. That's what a good first season of a television show does. So congratulations to Walton Goggins, man. You absolutely deserve it. And hopefully he wins. I mean, that'd be huge.
Really killing it at the Emmy nominations, though.
Yeah, that's well deserved.
Yeah, Erik has preached the praises of Shogun, and obviously for many different reasons, because it's probably the best TV show this year. House of the Dragon is definitely fighting for that spot too. We're just eating good right now. I mean, I'm not gonna pick and choose one over the other, but
a lot better than Long Legs.
Erik and I are of varying opinions on Long Legs, the new horror movie out, which, if you haven't seen it, stars Micah Monroe from It Follows and Nicolas Cage from everything Nicolas Cage is in. So it's about a FBI agent searching for a serial killer.
Very Silence of the Lamb-esque.
Yeah, very darkish.
I enjoyed it probably till the last 15 minutes.
There's what's funny is Erik doesn't enjoy Nicolas Cage, of all things, about the movie.
He ruined it at the end for me. I was fucking laughing my ass off in the middle of the theater, dude. People were looking at me.
Everybody just looking at you like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Dude, I couldn't stop laughing. I was dying.
Well, we have differing opinions on this one.
Go see it. I do recommend going to see it.
Yeah. Make the opinion for yourself. It's a pretty short movie too. I think it's like an hour and 40 minutes or something like that.
Micah Monroe was fantastic in it.
Yeah, and she's always usually pretty good.
I didn't like It Follows either, though. So
Erik and I have very differing tastes on this one.
Yeah, I like good movies. You don't. It's okay, man.
Hey, it's all right.
You know what? We like the Doom movie. All right, video game. We like movies.
Dune Part 1 and Part 2.
I was talking about Doom. I was talking about Doom with Carl Urban and The Rock.
Oh, I detest Dune. So
okay. That movie fucking slaps. I don't care what anybody says.
Speaking of Dune, we're getting the trailer for
Dune Awakening?
Prophecy.
Oh, Dune Prophecy.
Yeah, the HBO show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The
So-
nerd trailer for I think tomorrow. So
Nerds are living, baby.
Nerds are living.
we get an alien popcorn bucket with the xenomorph head, which not practical, but hey, that's gonna look good on like a shelf or something.
So it's not like the Shia Hallucci that fucking AMC was selling for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah. It's like the full-on xenomorph head with like a hole that you can like open up and put the popcorn in.
It's a little odd looking, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. But
Movie Tavern is doing a deal where, like, if you buy your tickets now, they give you like $10 in reward points. So I just went ahead and bought my fucking tickets.
that's awesome. Man, I wish our local theaters did stuff like that. Yeah, Alien Romulus is probably my number one movie for the rest of the year as of right now. That and Gladiator 2. For everybody who's upset about the Gladiator 2 like use of music,
It's a modern
Shove it.
movie at this point. It's like
shove
that's just
it.
promotion.
As long as the movie's not like that score isn't in the fucking movie, like, I'll be fine.
Yeah, and it won't be. I mean, what fucking? It's not like they put music like that in like Napoleon or the original Gladiator. And I didn't even like Napoleon. Like, it sucked.
Napoleon fucking
but-
sucked, dude. It was bad. It was
It's
fucking
just-
dog shit.
Just when our guy works on war movies and it's actually about war, he's on it.
Yeah, dude. He
He
made Napoleon
is
so bitch
on it.
made.
Yeah, it just was not the movie that I walked in thinking it was.
And-
gonna
and
be. The
I
first
like-
like 10 minutes, you're like, okay,
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah.
But-
Like Joaquin Phoenix even kind of laid it done in it too. It's just like, it's like he was still being the Joker.
that's
Oh,
just
yeah,
his
we
whole
had the Joker
personality
coming
That's
now.
just his
out
whole.
too.
Yeah, That's method. He's been method acting for 4 years now, man.
Just that's his whole life.
Yeah.
But no,
Here we are, just talk about movies now.
Hey, it's a shorter episode. We get the chance to do that.
Chocobro Chaser,
we are gonna
Indie Media
shine.
podcast.
Yeah,
We are
Hey,
going to shine when there's a Final Fantasy movie out.
Hey, we're going to be
Spirits
representing. We're going to be representing at FanX in Salt Lake City. There's not just video game actors there.
Oh,
There is TV, film. I was looking today. We've got fucking Michael Biehn is going to be there, and
Yeah, he was at the New Orleans one.
he's I'll see what magic we can work. See if we can bring him on. We'll see. This is going to be a great event from a networking perspective, and honestly, just to provide some great content for our fans to see some, awesome people in both the gaming, the film, television space, comics. Like this is a chance. A lot of animated too. Like a lot of the X-Men '97 cast is going to be there. So we
Fucking
are
banger.
yeah. Another thing that was nominated for Emmys, and 100% deservedly so. I got the Magneto helmet sitting in the background. Like, we got the impossible to get out of your head intro song. But honestly, just wanted to give a huge thank you to everybody who's tuning in. We love doing this, and we love playing video games. So it kind of just melds the two worlds together. Anything else you guys wanted to dive into just before we go ahead and close up shop?
That's it for me. Football's
Yeah.
back, baby.
All right.
They need to put neck in college football 25. Let the band play neck.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll get somehow. Well, I guess it's not on PC, so mods are like not really.
Oh, when it goes to PC eventually, like they're gonna mod in neck. It's gonna be great.
Well, perfect. So that is where we'll go ahead and we'll leave the show off here tonight. Thank you, everybody who's tuning in. We will catch you guys next week.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one.
Y'all have a good one.